So when Australia sets out to negotiate a trade agreement, we engage in significant stakeholder consultations with Australian businesses, with industry, with peak bodies, and an open submission process where anyone can make submissions. And it's really important to engage in those processes because it's a key source of information for the negotiators and for the government on what the priorities in the agreement should be and what it should be asking for. It's also asking Australians to give that information of where there are barriers between the countries that can be addressed, because that's what you then take into a trade negotiating room. Then with that information, what the negotiators are doing is trying to figure out how the other country's regulatory and market access regime works, how Australia's regulatory and market access regime works, and where we can find harmonisation that simplify effectively government red tape. Where can we find harmonisation in the forms or in the regulatory processes? Where can we capture where the regulatory standards are so that we set a standard between our countries and that then sets consistency for people trading? So the idea is to increase transparency, to smooth the process, to set a standard that will be maintained, to come to agreements on where there can be an increase in market access, so where tariffs might be reduced, where quotas might be increased, but particularly in the sectors that have been identified as priorities by the Australian public through a consultation process. Throughout the negotiations, the negotiators will go back to stakeholders and the public to ask questions about what they're negotiating. They'll consult with ministers and shadow ministers over the negotiations. And in due course, of course, as an agreement is finalised, at various points there'll be cabinet approvals, and then, of course, it will go through the parliamentary process before it enters into force.